Welcome, everyone. Another episode of the Plastic Cards Podcast, show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name is Fonze. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Steal Your Girl himself, indie game dev extraordinaire, Gavin Jones.
You wrote that down. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my dyslexia will intertwine these things.
Written it in writing.
In lighting? Yeah, how's it feel to be the idiot for once, Gavin? To mess up words.
I like that it was the exact one where you get it right.
Yeah. I got a PhD. Gavin, how was your weekend?
It was great. What was it? Friday we did all the things. Mm-hmm. Did multiple events.
Saturday.
But it was definitely Saturday. It definitely I feel like it was good that I pre-planned to do absolutely nothing on Sunday cuz as an introvert, like I can have those days where I go out and I'm with people all day long, but it's going to take like a full day to recover from that.
Right. Yeah, I think I need the week to recover from communicating with people. Yeah, I prefer not to. But it's good to get out there and see other humans.
It was good. And I literally played Outer World, is it?
Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds,
Mm-hmm.
I can't. The name honestly doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Does it reference? Well, I don't know. Does it reference anything in or they're just
literally everything in that game references something in the game, so everything matters. But Outer Wild is the name of they're like NASA.
Oh, okay.
So you're an astronaut in the Outer Wild something or something.
There is a
company.
logo in that ship that looks really dope. Like I want a patch because it looks like a NASA patch, but it's like you take it off a planet or something, or take it off from a planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been playing more of that. Did you finally beat it?
I'm so close. I'm so close. I think I'm like 90% done. I probably could have been further if I skipped eating and watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or whatever it's called.
What do you think of that?
That is a perfect film.
Right?
That is a perfect film.
It's my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Out of all of them. It's like it trumps everything. It's really, really good. Yeah. So. The animation was awesome. But with Outer Wild, so we talked about it over the weekend, but I'm further now. I figured out how to get off the planet, and I'm kind of venturing off into little areas. What are you thinking so far without getting too spoilery? Because apparently the more you experience the game, it's like stuff you don't want to spoil for people, right? Like there's
I can't. I basically can't tell you anything about it. But it's like there's so many details and like things that you don't think are going to be like, I'd see something kind of random in the background. I'm like, that's sort of weird. And then it all comes back. Everything is connected.
Okay.
Everything matters except for like maybe like children's names.
Gotcha.
So you'll see some children. And if you notice, I don't feel like this is spoiler territory, but I feel like this is a detail I really appreciate.
Yeah.
So with the adult alien language, it's very tight. And with the children, it's very loosey-goosey.
Okay, to notice
and all
that.
over the place. And I thought that was a really cute detail. And the fact that if you are paying attention names, it does matter.
Okay.
There's just so many details and some really moments where you feel like an absolute genius.
Just like figuring out puzzles and stuff.
Yeah. Even though the puzzles aren't the toughest in the world, but you still feel cool.
Yeah.
And you feel like you know that much more about the universe.
Gotcha.
So, but it is weird with that game that it's not like Zelda where like you and I can beat Breath of the Wild and have two completely different experiences. Maybe only like experience some of the same stuff.
Sure.
Whereas this, you have to do 100% of everything. So to my knowledge, you're going to experience 100% of everything. Just maybe not in the same order.
You can venture out where you want to go, but you still end up experiencing the same stuff.
You have to do it all. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
that's interesting. I wonder how vast the little universe they've created is, because I've just seen, just kind of jumping off my planet, there's comets and other things that are you can see their orbit where it's like I gotta make sure and like time it right to get on there, otherwise it doesn't come back for a while. Like I wonder if that's how you need to get further out.
The comet?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or you just fly your little rinky-dink ship, but I feel like that would take forever. But or there's other ways to just get further out from the little area.
You know, I found something, and I don't feel like this is too much of a spoiler, but so normally if you keep going out, it'll turn you around.
Okay.
But when you first start out, you see this thing break apart and this blue thing come out of it. And I'm like, I'm going to follow that.
Yeah.
And so I fly up there. as fast as I can, and I start following it as fast as I possibly can, and I catch up. And by the time I finally caught up, I was so far away I couldn't even see the sun anymore.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So I finally caught up to it, and it was a complete waste of my time. But
gotcha.
Now I know.
Right. But at least, yeah, I mean, I feel like everything's still there for a purpose, and maybe they planned on people seeing that shiny thing and then following it.
There's a point to it all, though.
Gotcha.
Like you find out, it's amazing, but I can't say anything. The one thing I will say that I thought was brilliant is that one planet that's like torn apart by vines.
Yeah, that one I did go to. I went to one like that.
Yeah.
That was dangerous. Like I ended up dying getting close to it. But
so like I finally went into there, and when I first experienced it, I was trying to figure it out, and I was so mad. It was like my least favorite planet. I hated it, and towards the end, it's gotten to be one of my favorites.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even though it's definitely the scariest and most likely to murder you at any second.
Yeah, I died instantly.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
It's a cool game.
Yeah, I keep reading just little bits online, reviews and kind of impressions where, apparently like whatever happens in the game is so unique and just interesting that people are really big on just this. I don't know if it's just the story or how they show off the story through the gameplay, but everything is being really well received and well reviewed.
Yeah, it kind of feels like someone took a Doctor Who episode and mixed it with Groundhog's Day.
Interesting.
And it is so good, and the puzzles you're figuring out are so weird.
Gotcha.
That it's really cool.
I can get that vibe. Like I'm not super far in, but already in the beginning you encounter these rocks and stuff that don't abide by normal, physics or stuff like that. There's one thing I found cool is on your little hub world at the very top, I want to say of that mountain area. They're kind of showing off. Yeah, I did. Yeah. But there's like little space or it's just stuff explaining them exploring space and what they found. There's a rock that changes gravity, and it was just cool to like jump on it, and it distorts gravity in real time. And just like little stuff like that's really cool. That you can think they have thought it out, and you can do it basically. If they show you it, you can go and do that. So that leaves me hopeful for the rest of the game. Yeah, I do want to play the rest of it.
Yeah. And still, to this point, have yet to get a power-up. I'm almost to the end. I don't think I'm getting a single power-up, and I think that's brilliant that I'm able to defeat obstacles through learning.
That's really cool. Yeah, so is that something that's not there, you think, or you're just avoiding that or have an experience that you think that it's not a point of the game?
I don't think it's part of the game.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely getting towards the end. I heard there's like a little grindy bit at the end, so it's entirely possible that I had to do something to get an item to get to the end, but I don't think so. I think I just have to do something special.
I see.
That may be a bit grindy, so we'll see.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's dope. I want to play more of that. I was very lazy Sunday. Well, I wasn't, as far as like video games go, so I wasn't playing a lot, but I did play on Friday Super Mario Maker. Right. I think came out Thursday night and was playing that, and it's really cool. I've yet to play like the super duper hard levels. I'm seeing like different Twitch streams where people are just like losing their minds, and which that's the fun of it. That's what I want to get into that because it seems really cool. Or seeing people get very far in a level and then like pause it and then restart the level on accident. I saw a Twitch streamer do that.
Oh no!
And just like freaking out. But yeah, I like the story mode. You're kind of building the castle again, and yeah.
I would have liked to have seen. It looks like all you can do with the level is say good or bad.
Oh yeah, okay. I haven't reviewed anything yet.
I would love and you can do like a text review as well. But like I would love for there to be 5 stars. Like why not?
Right, because maybe there's more wiggle room, or it's not as it's just it's too it's too simple just to have a yes and no. But yeah, interesting. Or different genres. I'm not sure how they really break down the levels, but yeah, that's cool. Any other games did you play? Have you played over the weekend?
I haven't touched the thing. I've just been obsessed with
Outer Wilds.
I'm still like, even when I showed up to work today, I'm like, maybe if I do, and then I can do the thing. Oh man, but what does the thing mean though? Because I've had this thing that's been in the back of my mind for like 10 plus hours, and I can't figure it out.
Gotcha.
But I know I'm like this close.
Did you ever play, I think it was only on PS4, but it was The Witness? Did you ever see footage of that? So the guy that did Braid did that one. But it's like this...
Oh, right. It's like a pure puzzle game. You got the maps, but it involves the environment.
Yeah, heavily. But it's it kind of reminds me of just somewhat of that, where they just kind of let you loose, and it's up to you to figure it out. I think... Right. Witness was maybe more or less forgiving, but it was really cool. I liked it a lot. I was just so dumb I could not get very far, and then you're kind of locked if you don't figure out this kind of level in the environment, you can't go to that place.
Yeah.
But it just kept getting harder, harder. But I feel like there's remnants of that. Of course, No Man's Sky, but like they're just kind of a different route than No Man's Sky. But I like the idea of comparing them both, just because No Man's Sky went the whole generated content, or like what's the correct term I'm thinking of?
Procedurally generated.
There you go. So versus that compared to something that's tailor made to create a story and experience.
So tailor made, like, right. And it's like the devs are saying, like, we designed 100% of this, and like you really feel that, and that's just how real this world feels. So
that's awesome. And of course, they're different experiences and they serve different purposes, but I just think of them both together.
I think this one gives a bit of a better feeling of adventure, but I think that's partially due to you're meeting other adventurers, and they all have personalities that kind of come with it. Like, gotcha. I don't know. But I've never played No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I've sunk a good amount of hours into it. It's fun to just kind of unplug and play it. There's story aspects to it, but nothing that I felt just in the first hour or two of Outer Wilds, where you can tell they're crafting something. It was just an afterthought. That's the vibe I get with No Man's Sky. It was something that tried to fit to keep you going in the game, that was just kind of about exploration. But
I wonder how much further they're going with that game.
With No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a consecutive, 3 years of just constantly updating it. At a certain point, I feel like they're in good graces now with gamers that first bought it, that they're fine. Yep, that's what they were just trying to do.
This is now what they promised.
Yeah, unless they're really trying to keep adding modes to it and really turn it into something else, that could be done too.
Yeah.
But like an EVE Online or something like that, where it's like always on, going on.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So I did finish. This was a week ago or further, but I finally finished Rage 2.
Really?
I actually beat the story mode and and finished it up, and it was cool. There's still other stuff you can do to it. They've announced DLC where there's like a sandworm thing that comes out at random points. There's other cheats that they've unlocked. Yeah, like different. There's a mech suit there, so they're going to keep supporting it. But I liked it. The story was kind of like didn't really matter, but it was always about the gameplay or the gunplay rather. But I still enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to play that game.
Nice.
Yep. There's a lot of power-ups that you can play the game and not really find, because they kind of let you go where you want to go, but it's up to you to find these, at least the core ones that the story wants you to find. But otherwise, there's other ones that unless you look for them, you're not going to find. Like I think the double jump, I don't think that was a story related one.
Well, aren't they all? They're all because I know you like hold up a thing and then you see a beam of light. Are they not all at those beams of light? I
didn't do the beam of light thing. Maybe that's something.
Oh yeah, I made it way easier. Like the first thing I did, I think I held up my hand or something dumb like that.
Oh, when you do the power, yeah, okay.
And then all of a sudden, your focus.
I see. Yeah. I would look at the map, and then as you drive by stuff, it would tell you something's in the area, and I'd find it that way.
Right.
Maybe I was using an actual map versus Google Maps compared to like traversing.
Right. Yeah.
That could be it too. I'm an idiot, so there's some new stuff that happened, Gavin. This one is kind of interesting.
That's a small font. Apparently, we have everything to go over. E3 be damned.
Right. Well, this is kind of a meaty leak that happened over just today, apparently. So this is some GTA 6 news that possibly has leaked. So of course we take all this stuff with a grain of salt, but this one seems pretty legit. It's a bunch of different Reddit users that have uploaded different information, and it's a lot of it where it seems like this is something that's legitimate. Mm-hmm. But it comes from GamesRadar.com. New GTA 6 leaks say the game is set in the 70s, 80s, Brazil, inspired by Netflix Narcos, and is next-gen only. So they kind of headlined this with, this GTA 6 leak is no joke. Posted on Reddit, user Jack-O-Lantern1982 has posted a lengthy bullet point list. You don't trust Jack-O-Lantern 1982, Gavin?
Powerpuff Girl 1996.
A lengthy bullet point list about what is apparently included in the next Grand Theft Auto game, including the fact that it's set across multiple decades, deals with the rise of the drug cartel, and is set partly in Vice City.
That's cool.
There's a lot of so like if this is legit, I love it. And the fact that there's so much detail makes it seem more credible. Mm-hmm. But so there's a bunch of bullet points here. So the next GTA title has been in development since 2012, but production didn't begin properly until 2015.
Sure.
But even then, the team was focusing more on Red Dead Redemption 2. So yeah, they still had that huge game to get out of the way, and now they can fully start. This is so it's another Rockstar worldwide production. So I think it's them combining their various teams across the world really to focus more on that team, because I know they have a bunch of different iterations of Rockstar.
Yeah.
So the code name is Project Americas. It's set in both Vice City and a new fictional location based on Rio de Janeiro. I love that idea because that's really, they haven't really tapped that much, that idea of it. I think maybe the closest thing is like Just Cause always has like these tropical kind of like Colombian worlds or or like faux areas. So I like that. Other than that, it doesn't really seem like it's tapped much.
No. And that'd be interesting too, because they're storytellers over there. They have a really good job of balancing actual legitimate storytelling and handling stuff extremely respectfully.
Sure. With
being incredibly immature and mocking this stuff as you're doing it. So I think they'll be able to do this with, I feel like you're sort of in danger territory doing some of this stuff, but I think if anyone can handle it, it's them.
Yeah, and I think they thrive thematically in that kind of stuff. They like to be in these really controversial areas, but they, since they lean heavily on like just being funnier, they can kind of just joke around and somewhat not take themselves so seriously, but get away with the fact that they're dealing with serious stuff. Yeah. But especially like the drug cartels and in Brazil and like just in South America, they don't fuck around at all. No. So it's gonna be interesting how they
very little sense of humor.
No. So just like how they play that into the world, but it's always like crime related with GTA anyways. So I mean that's a no brainer. I feel like. So there's some other stuff. So it's set in the 1970s and 1980s. You play as an up-and-coming drug lord wannabe named Ricardo. Another key character called Casey is a part of the narrative. You start off as a grunt doing runs as a cocaine smuggler from Vice City to the new large South American area before making connections with big-time drug lords. There is another thing about... So there's one playable protagonist. You're male, not female, despite supposed leaks. I feel like they keep dancing around the idea of letting you play as female. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I feel like at least opening it up to where you can create your own character. If they don't want to handle that so much, letting you just choose who you want to be.
I don't think they can, unless they just do like a straight like whatchamacallit did Mass Effect, where like here's the female voice, here's the male's voice, and that's it. Yeah. It'd be, with their detailed level of storytelling, it'd be pretty difficult.
That's true. You can have a kind of a blanket, just placeholder. They've got to create a narrative based on your character, just like say in Red Dead 2, the main character's so big and they had to create an arc. Yeah. But I wonder, I think this will become more of a big deal as they go forward. In the current state in games, it's like there's no female protagonist representation with Rockstar games. I think they're going to feel a lot more heat going forward by not including.
They haven't done one, have they?
I don't think so, ever. Maybe there was those PSP games. But I think it was always a male protagonist. But at least then it was like the Ballad of Gay Tony. I want to say it was a gay character. There's like there was a gang, biker gang. But otherwise, they don't really stray. I mean, they feature those characters in the game. It's just that you never play as the game. And I wonder if that's going to be more controversial going forward. More than the subject matter. It's just the fact that, hey, you can't play as a chick ever. And I feel like they're going to deal with some of that.
God, I don't think there is an exception.
No, I can't think of any. And it's always one of those things like, oh, yeah, in the future, like next year, next time, here, it's going to be a girl or a boy. It's like, no, it's always a dude. But I don't know. I'm not really that mad at it. It's just I find it interesting, and I wonder if they'll at least create a narrative that is for this female character and create some kind of different story intentionally. I don't know. Or they're like, hey, if we put a girl on the box, it doesn't sell. I don't know. I don't know what their motive is, but yeah. So I mean, there's a bunch of stuff.
It's gonna be what's it called? Fable all over again, where they're like, we're gonna put a black female on the cover, and they're like, no, you can't do that. That's not what gamers want.
Right. It's so dumb. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff. I highly recommend reading this article from Games Radar. This leak is everywhere, but so there's a bunch of stuff. It's heavily inspired by Netflix's Narcos. There is weather is a heavy focus, hurricanes, floods. Buildings change over the eras, vehicles too. So older, rare classic cars get more expensive as time progresses, etc. There's a full economy. So this takes place over a couple different decades. So you can have cars like improve in value or decrease. Yeah. Let's see. You can only have weapons on your person, no arsenal in your back pocket, like Red Dead Redemption 2. Your personal vehicle will be like your horse saddle in Red Dead Redemption 2. All your equipment is stored in the trunk. You also store your body armor in the car. If you wear it, it appears, no longer just as an invisible thing. Oh. So I think they're starting to dig into some of the stuff implemented in Red Dead 2 with the the realism with you have to carry the guns physically and how it changes your physical appearance when you have armor. I really like that idea.
I think that kind of I can talk about that at the end, but I would like to bring that back up.
Gotcha. So Next gen only, not PS4 or Xbox One, is the projected release for that. GTA 6 is now their primary focus alongside another title, which might be Bully 2. Game still in pre-alpha, so names, locations, details could and probably will change. No ETA on a release date. So the earliest release date is projected as what this leak is referring to is holiday 2021. But this is Games Radar recommends or theorizes basically it's 2022 or 2023 is more likely.
Yeah, I 2000% agree with that.
They take time working on these, especially if it's next gen. I think they like to wait till next gen's kind of established. Well, that's not true. GTA 5 came out kind of on the verge because they released a HD or like a high res version of it.
Which it looked great on past gen's console, like absolutely brilliant. And then they just got stupid good.
It did, yeah. And so that gives me that makes me way more interested in a Red Dead 2 re-release on next gen hardware too. It's already super beautiful, and so I can't imagine what it's going to look like on.
Need to be prettier,
right? It doesn't need to be, but I'm glad. I'm not mad at the fact that it is. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I think there's a lot more there too, but I just like hearing about this. I like the direction it's going in. And it's been a while since we've had, a Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And so we're ready for it.
I think that was one of the tricky things with the last Grand Theft Auto. That was so big and boisterous. Like, there's nowhere to go up.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of simplify it. And I hope it's good. I think that's real. There's so much detail. Sounds really real.
Yeah, when it comes to that kind of thing, I feel like at least there's some of that stuff that and it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. It seems like it's right along, but it's still an improvement. They're trying to really not change things up so much, but enough to where it's something unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. By the way, so random thing, but so I recently watched on Amazon. I watched The Tick.
How is that? I've never seen any footage, but I know that happened. Or I don't know if they finally canceled after all. But yeah.
I think season 2, I want to say, is coming out before too long, or maybe I watched season 2. Maybe I did watch season 2.
Yeah,
I think it did. But so it was funny. So I watched it, and at first I was like, "It's not as good as the original with Patrick Warburton." Not the cartoon. I can't remember the cartoon. I remember it being really good, but I was a kid.
Okay. I liked the cartoon, I think, as a kid, but yeah, I don't remember much.
Super good. Back in Fox TV, Fox Kids Prime.
Yeah. Yep.
But so mentally, I'm comparing it to the live action version with Patrick Warburton, and so I'm just like, you can't replace Patrick Warburton as the Tick. So after I finished, I went back and watched Patrick Warburton's The Tick, and boy, can you replace Patrick Warburton as the Tick. Like, his was very good, and it's very funny because he looks like him, he sounds like him, but it's good. I don't know if it's the best like Tick show, but it's a solid superhero television show with just some fun storylines and some cool characters. So I liked it. I got quite a few chuckles out of it.
Well, was their whole approach like a parody of stuff too, with the fact that you have these people in live action walking around? Like, were they kind of aware of how weird they looked? Like, what was the humor like?
I think everyone else is besides the Tick.
Okay.
Because the Tick doesn't, like, he's not even...
He takes himself seriously kind of thing.
Right. Doesn't always necessarily understand, certainly at first, but that other people are wearing a suit.
Gotcha.
Because that's apparently not a suit.
He's just naked or something.
No, that's his body. He is the Tick. But it's but yeah, so speaking of that, one of the characters in the show is played by the guy that did Trevor. And if you don't know the guy from Grand Theft Auto that plays Trevor,
I love that guy.
Looks exactly like Trevor.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I just can't not see Trevor. The only thing I'm like, he's just not doing the voice. It's weird seeing him not do the voice.
Yep. He's got a unique name too. I forget. I love seeing him pop up on different stuff. Like, I want him to get more work. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's very
just a
talented.
Weird guy.
But shit, I forgot the thing I was going to say about.
We talked about the armor being visible and.
So I was watching this kind of concept recently about like what elements of that stuff bring you into the world and what elements sort of just make the whole world feel like a chore. Like, you're playing a game and your character is just happens to be a Tamagotchi that you had to deal with while you're playing the game.
Do you have to breathe, in and out? Like, how detailed do you want to get where it's not fun anymore?
And the example they gave for that was like, well, in a lot of games it's really cool, but Red Dead, the last one, is just like, you have to do so much extra stuff that it's sort of like, all right,
where every button on the controller is being used, and I'm thinking about everything way more than I do in my normal life, where I'm like constantly aware of the game. But yeah.
So if they can get that to a comfortable level with this game, I think that'll really pull people into it way further, like it did with me in Far Cry 2. But yeah, if they go too far with it, it's going to be like, this is just going to be miserable.
And that's interesting because you can have two different people and they can experience it differently. Like with Far Cry 2, I found everything so cumbersome where I didn't have fun, but you were more immersed in those.
Oh, I didn't have fun. I didn't have a lick of fun that whole game. It was just so interesting. And like the world was out to murder me and I was not going to let it.
Okay. Gotcha.
And but it's the whole theme of that game is just oppression, basically.
Yeah.
Your character is just constantly dealing with malaria, guns jamming, having to pull bullets out of their arm with their teeth, and that sound effect was so realistic it made me cringe every time.
I feel like I remember that mechanic and I really liked it.
It was rough.
For the fire and stuff, It's funny that it wasn't fun, but it was still something enjoyable.
Yeah. I still love that they programmed the AI apparently to like fuck up your plan. So they were going to approach you, but they were going to approach you from a weird angle. So wherever you thought they were going to come from, it was going to be off to the side. So your plans always got screwed up in a firefight, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That reminds me of things that are you kind of come back to, but they're not really fun. But that show, there's this futuristic show called Black Mirror.
Oh, right.
I watched that show, but I always feel way more depressed and sad. I'm like, why am I actually watching this show? There's something about it where it's still engaging, cool, unique, but it's always just a kick in the nuts every time.
Yeah.
There's actually this new episode you should watch. It's on Netflix with VR, and you should just watch it. It's just this cool regular episode with these two buddies watching VR. So
watching porn in VR, like you do.
No, nothing strange. Just watch it and get back to me, and then let me know if you're interested in doing what they do in that show. But I'll leave it to that.
Oh no,
just two buddies.
Definitely not watching porn in VR. A wink, a wink. No,
it's a really dope episode. You should watch it. I forget, but it's the first episode on that premiere.
I gotta watch that whole show.
It's eventually good, but it's also like you gotta take a shower and watch something happy afterwards. Because
that's the way I felt with like Rick and Morty.
Sort of, yeah, because it's so bleak and but still hilarious at the same time. Yeah. There's some really good VR games from that. One of the writers or the main creator, Squanch Games.
Oh, Rick and Morty.
Yeah. I want to play the Trover and the accounting.
When I was watching some people play Trover, I'm like, this game, honestly, it really doesn't look fun, but I was just laughing my ass off the whole time.
Yeah.
Because he can just riff forever. That's
what it seems like. Yeah. Like, cause he's always just referencing what you're doing. Even if you're staring at something too long, he's just like on your ass about it. Yeah. So we got some other stuff. I don't know how interested you are in The Witcher, but there were some Witcher photo releases for the Netflix movie they're making.
Oh.
So
let's go old Henry Mustache.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. Yep. So I just pulled this from IGN. Netflix The Witcher has unveiled a new photos of the cast showing Geralt of Rivera, I want to say. Geraldo of Rivera, Ciri and Yennefer in full costume.
Geralt of...
I like to call him Geraldo.
Oh, is this an actor name?
No, that's the character of in The Witcher.
It's Geralt of Rivia? Something like that?
But, I mean, he's looking pretty beefy.
One person watching is mad. Sorry,
my grandma's
Dave.
a big Witcher fan. So there is some criticism online. He has one sword in some of these photos. What does that mean? Is he supposed to have two swords?
So I haven't played these games, but he's supposed to have two swords. So to defeat, to my understanding, to defeat regular enemies, you use your... He's holding one and he's got the other. So maybe he just always holds one, or maybe he has it on a side. But so to defeat regular non-magical people, to my understanding, use a regular sword. But to defeat magical enemies, you need to use a silver sword.
Okay.
Which, as people who know about swords say, represents problems. I forget what the problems are with the silver. Like maybe it'll break, or maybe it's too soft or something like that. Gotcha. So like, silver sword is a terrible idea. The other, so the other problem with this, which a lot of people that know about swords get upset about is the back mount for swords.
Sure.
People didn't do that because you can't draw your sword. Like, it's a really terrible way
Interesting.
to carry a sword. You should just have them on the side. You can put it out. You
It's
can
just
put it
inefficient
away.
to pull it out from the top.
It's bad. It's going to be hitting you in the back of the head. Like, there's nothing good about having it mounted on your back aside from the fact that it looks cool.
Right.
So putting 2 on your back is just twice as bad. You should never do it.
I feel like they're reading that criticism. They go, "Oh, okay, he's got both of them back there now." And they just just to light it on fire and walk away.
Yeah.
He's chewing gum somehow too.
I mean, maybe. Well, no. See, he's a full Witchered, so he'd have both.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess, but also at the same time, well, no, I'd probably be upset about something dumb. Like, I mean, if a new Zelda came out tomorrow and he didn't have a back-mounted sword thing, would I care? Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. It's a matter of how much do you want to pay homage or reiterate, on the subject matter and yeah. But I mean, it looks cool to me. At least these initial images. Yeah. I'm on board. I'm not really a fan. I know the game is awesome, but I've just never really came around to playing it.
Right.
So I'm maybe more approachable with this Netflix series, and maybe this gets me interested in the lore. I imagine the lore carries over. That's like the same subject matter, so that maybe I'm more interested to play the game and experience that. But yeah.
It does suck that if you do want to be caught up before, like, you can skip 1, but you should probably play 2.
Gotcha.
So it's like that's so much content.
Yeah, it's 60-hour, 80-hour games. I mean, and they're
2 of them plus the DLCs, which are basically full-length games upon themselves. Like, you think I'm being lazy about catching up with Game of Thrones because I'm intimidated? This is
a whole other ball game with this kind of thing.
This is all of Game of Thrones per game.
Yeah, I know some of the criticism with Witcher 3 was like looking at the overworld. There's just so much stuff where it can seem daunting. It's like, and that kind of plays to that somewhat into that realism aspect where it's like you can have control over every aspect of your character, but then it's a chore. But then also you can have all these options in the game, but then it's like, okay, then I'm not having as much fun because I have to deal with all this stuff that I haven't done yet.
Well, and that's why it was really nice with Breath of the Wild that shit didn't get marked on your map unless you put it there specifically, and you only had so many markers.
Right.
So it was very like, I have to prioritize. I'm like, no, mark this new one. Yep. Like, I want to go that.
To keep your map from just filling up with stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is kind of neat because you had to remember where the Great Fairies are. I mean, I only went to the easy one, but...
Yeah, there's one in the desert that's right by a warp zone that I would always go to, but yeah.
Oh, see, I always went to the one in Kakariko Village. Maybe not Kakariko, but whatever that one village is with Impa.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And she gave me them titty hugs, and I was like, okay, I feel like I suffocated. But
I'm going to keep coming back.
This customer service is insane.
We got some Twitch news, Gavin, some new abilities or services they're offering that I want to get your take on.
Yeah, they kept emailing about me, and I kept ignoring.
Oh, yeah. So this is from Kotaku. Twitch's new subscriber-only streams might violate publishers' terms of service.
Subscriber-only streams?
Yeah, so this was announced, last week, and they go into detail here, but there's an ability now to offer exclusive streams to where you pay to watch that.
No one's going to do it.
Yeah, so some of the, not YouTubers, some
or
of the
no, like... Nobody's going to do it that's just like a plain streamer. Like, if I were to go out, I'd never... Like, anyone that's just them streaming games, that would completely kill your audience. But I could see it for something like UFC fights or some sort of sporting events. They could do it that way. Yeah. And I don't think you can really share accounts like you can with a lot of other stuff. So
yeah, you can be logged in multiple accounts, like with Twitch or something. Like
I don't think really.
So they do explain some of the dilemma here. Last week, Twitch announced a new feature that's already proven divisive: subscriber-only streams. True to their name, they're like regular streams, but only people who've subscribed with real money to a particular streamer are able to watch them. It's an option that many streamers say they won't be using for fear of dividing their audiences.
Yeah.
However, they may have another reason to steer clear. Some companies might not allow them. And they go into detail here, but there's kind of red tape or like details and a lot of these.
I see what you're about to say. Yeah.
Yeah, these publisher disclosures on like how you can cover their games and how you can use that content, their videos free, but as long as you don't if you don't monetize it in a way that's like exclusive and paying literal money to view it. But when it's like on a public viewable area like YouTube, Twitch, it's way easier for them to do it. So
Or that, or you think about people that play music while they're doing their stream. Like, you're in enough trouble with that before, but you typically weren't going to get slapped on the wrist.
Gotcha.
Now you might as well break out both butt cheeks because you're getting paddled for that one.
Yeah. So they do list out some of the issues here, and this might be covered in detail with Twitch once they actually like realize that this is a possibility and they change their terms. But so eagle-eyed and contradictorily named Redditor Just a Lazy Gamer noticed that subscriber-only streams stand to violate the terms of service of multiple major video game companies. Blizzard, Valve, Riot, and CD Projekt Red's terms all contain variations on a similar statement. Basically, if you want to make a video out of their games, you can't require people to give you money for it. Neither you nor the operator of any website where your production may be viewed can force a viewer to pay a fee to be able to view your production, reads Blizzard's video policy. Use of our content videos must be non-commercial, reads Valve's. By that, we mean you can't charge users to view or access your videos. You also can't sell or license your videos to others for a payment of any kind.
I feel like that used to be something you'd see a lot, like when you'd get like a video game demo, like way back in the day, and it'd say like you can't sell footage of this.
Gotcha.
Like you just can't. So
almost like the NFL, you can't reproduce their stuff.
Right. Yeah. So it's like that guy was saying. Like, yeah.
It's interesting. So there is some kind of backdoor, possibly they explain where. I guess Valve at least they label the fact that like Twitch is part of this partnered program where they allow them to do that, and also aspects of YouTube. So they might find a way to still let you have some kind of subscription service where you have people come in and pay for your stream, but still be able to stream their games legally. But I guess it's a weird territory they're figuring out with that ability to have subscribers.
I bet I could see it mostly being used for IRL streams, like legally. I could see it mostly being used for IRL streams, but even then they can't have music.
Right. So
you could do your ASMR after dark and that feels kind of itchy already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't.
With your streaming that you've done, you ever faced any kind of takedown notices or any kind of like issues regarding anything?
I mean, I definitely had, if you looked at some of the old VODs, like if I go off to the bathroom, I left music playing. So it'd mute that whole section.
Oh, okay.
I still contractually, like we can never stream this onto YouTube because contractually I can only stream on Twitch.
Oh, really? Who's contract or how?
It's Twitch. If you become a partner, you sign that contract.
Interesting.
So,
but now, what if you create separate content? Like if you took that same video, put it on YouTube, I understand that. What if you create something different, or they own you as an entity, as a creator?
I literally can't stream on something else without breaking that contract. So I can put a YouTube video. I can be in a YouTube video on YouTube. I can put up my own YouTube videos. If I take my videos from Twitch and put them on YouTube, I can't do it for 24 hours. Gotcha. So it has to be on Twitch exclusive for 24 hours before YouTube.
What about the secret Pornhub camera I have set up in your room? Does that violate the Twitch?
Well, I moved it into my roommate's room.
Gotcha.
So it's.
Okay.
I don't think
I thought your mood's
violating.
Kind of changed there. So okay, that explains.
Yeah, I was like, man, your beard got fucking glorious, dude. I don't know how you shave that thing like every morning, but.
No, I didn't realize that they really kind of, and that's when you're a partner, which is a kind of a different game from just streaming.
I don't. Well, that's the other thing too. I don't know if those rules apply to now. They have their affiliate program, which they've had for a little bit now, which is like partner, sort of light, but also not. It's sort of. I don't like it. It to a large degree, it feels like they're just taking, almost just advantage of people a little bit.
Like the really successful streamers, or just anybody too?
These are people that are just they're just sort of starting out and they have lower viewer counts. So it's sort of normally those people make their money mostly through donations or through a third party subscription service, which by Twitch introducing affiliate, which anyone can get affiliate. It's really not that hard to get. Yeah, so it's sort of weird because it feels like it's just trying to get that much more money.
Right, I see.
And I'm very positive of the concept of it, like of them giving these people these options earlier. Yeah. The thing I don't like is they're not supporting them fully. Like because I was a partner, I'm still a partner. I'm pretty sure I get rights to, I get like an express IT line there. When I go out to, if I went out to TwitchCon, I'd still be able to get into the parties just front of the line.
Okay.
Which I did last time I went to one like 2 years ago. Like maybe like 40 viewers tops most of the time, tops.
Yeah.
And but I'd still just straight front of the line, and other people straight up couldn't get in if they couldn't get through the line in time before the cutoff.
I see.
So they give them
there's benefits to it for sure.
Right. And just because I was a partner, even though like affiliates would have more subs than me, I'd still get all those benefits. So they weren't really supporting them, which is not something I was happy with that program.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, there's very little I understand about the whole streaming.
Yeah. But it does allow them to get bits, and I think bits are super fun.
Sure. I don't know what bits are, Gavin.
They're Amazon currency.
Okay.
So you buy your bits, they cost more. Like, let's say you buy $1 worth of bits for like $1.25. So it's fake money, but the streamer gets like 100% of it. They don't get $1.25 of it, but you buy $1 worth of bits for $1.25, and then the streamer gets whatever you throw at them.
Okay.
So
it's very interesting how they've been able to create these little economies to support that. And is it because it's just flat out harder to just send people cash or like Venmo stuff, or because that's an option too? They want to get a piece of that.
To a certain degree, I forget all the issues around. I know sometimes there are certain countries where they can't do that, or they can only do it through PayPal. Or there's all these other things. And even with the bits, there's problems because a lot of countries it's not supported, or at least it wasn't.
Oh, sure.
So it's very convoluted, but it is nice having a centralized currency with that at least, because otherwise people like they donate you €5. I'm like, the fuck's a euro?
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah. How do I put this in a soda machine?
What is that in freedom units? I don't.
You throw it away. That's what it's called in freedom units, Gavin.
It was getting like, it was surprising getting like tipped in Canadian, because you think it's like, you think dollars, so you're just like, oh, it's dollars, but it's like, I think it was like slightly less.
Oh, really?
Because I think their money is worth more than ours, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So you think you're getting like slightly more than you are. So
yeah. Well, let's see what else. We have some Cyberpunk
maybe I have that backwards.
news here. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of 3 projects in the Cyberpunk universe that CD Projekt Red is working on. So as if they didn't have enough on their plate to make.
It's going to be Cyberpunk slots for the phone.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk Go, which honestly I wouldn't be mad at. Probably be the first one of those AR titles.
Yeah. Maybe some kind of not CSGO, but like the automated chess version with Cyberpunk on it. Is it Konami that does the slots thing too? That's their whole thing now. Like
I know they do pachinko.
Pachinko, that's what it is.
But they probably do slots.
Maybe a Cyberpunk pachinko. So we have Games Radar writes, Rachel Weber from Games Radar. Cyberpunk 2077 studio CD Projekt Red is actually working on 3 different Cyberpunk projects, according to the president of the company. Industry tipster Nibel has unearthed a report on a Polish business site that reveals that after Cyberpunk 2077, there will be another game in the universe and a separate multiplayer project. This tweet is based on a story on the Polish site bankier.pl, and thank our cyber overlords for Google Translate. In it, Adam Kaczynski, president and joint CEO and CFO, Piotr Nielabowicz, revealed just how dedicated the studio is to its new franchise. We're working on 3 Cyberpunk things, the main game and 2 more. These are 3 teams, he said. This could simply mean a multiplayer mode and a smaller, more casual spin-off like The Witcher 3's Gwent, or DLC, but follow-up comments from another bigwig suggested it could be a sequel. How do you feel about that? You think it's them trying to do too much, maybe, or they have enough and they see such a potential blockbuster with this, they want to branch out early and start making different things?
I mean, I want this game inside me. I don't care if it gets a 1, I'm buying it.
There's no way it can, but yeah.
Right. It won't.
If it falls short with expectations.
It won't, but I really want this game, and if I get through it, and I'm sure it's going to take a while to get through, but if I get through it and I'm just thirsty for more, and they're just like, hey, just so you know, more's coming. Like,
yep.
I feel like, they said 3 different games.
Yeah, one could be a multiplayer, or is room to be a multiplayer mode or a game on its own, and then either it's DLC or some kind of Gwent version of what's going on.
Yeah, I'd like DLC, and especially with their DLC is basically a game.
Right. Yeah.
So
I think it was in the news recently too. They plan on supporting it with that same Witcher style length of DLC. So I mean, we're going to be knee deep in Cyberpunk for a while, which I'm not mad at. They do end off saying Cyberpunk 2077 killed it at E3 2019, and the piece also gave us a sense of when we'll get our next big reveal of the game from Kaczynski. A strong dose of information should be expected at the beginning of next year when the preview will appear. Then industry journalists will already be playing and writing about it. They also cancel all my 2020 appointments.
Right.
But yeah, so maybe early as they get ready to really promote Cyberpunk 2077 coming out, they can reveal what their next plans are somewhat, with at least the minor games coming out. Mm-hmm. It's pretty nuts.
I could see some sort of at least teaser at the end of the game.
Yep. I do want to end off here with some interesting indie games and just little tidbits I found. I did find the name of that one skate game I was telling you about. But
what was it? Hamsters on skateboards? Yeah. Was it actually a hamster?
It wasn't quite that. So I'm gonna put this footage up too, but I'm gonna show you this, Gavin. It's a Death Stranding demake. I don't know if you've already seen this.
Right. I saw an article for it, but I was at work, so I couldn't.
Gotcha. It looks pretty cool. Like, it does look very believable. I'm kind of skimming through it here, but
yeah. I know. A complaint I heard is like it's a little too high fidelity for the.
Yeah, it wouldn't. You need more fog too in the background, but yeah.
Probably. I mean, that's pretty. That's not terrible. There's a little bit too many, like, those rocks shouldn't be 3D. They should be textures.
Gotcha.
At least I think they're.
But like the
3D.
water reacting, I feel like is good.
That's good. Like this camera.
Right. I feel like we know more about this than we do the actual game, just watching this footage.
Right.
But it looks like, you can walk around and obtain stuff and build, and they've got the creepy little things hanging from the sky, and your little dude walking around.
It honestly almost looks like it was made with voxels.
You think so?
Just the floor.
I'm skipping through here, but
well, it doesn't. Those babies in the sky.
I'm not sure because in the game some weird stuff is happening. So.
I did not watch that last trailer.
You should, because I don't think they show off anything that's spoilery, because it all doesn't make sense.
Right.
But they show off somewhat of the gameplay where it's like, okay, I can start to understand what I'm actually doing in this game.
Right.
And I like that I can still, like, okay, you're traversing, there's combat, and along with the weird, crazy story, which I'm actually excited for.
Yeah.
But
it's coming out soon, isn't it?
Yeah, November. That's one of those games
weird.
It was so weird for them to release that so early, but yeah, that's coming out.
Let's see.
And we also have. I want to
Skatebird. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Skatebird is the name of that game I was telling you about. So it's very Tony Hawk-esque, and I feel like in a world where we don't have anything like that right now, I'm on board for this. But the internet is being work. Yeah. Actually reduced in bars.
Change this to guy outside's phone hotspot.
Yeah. So that's loading up. While that loads up, Gavin, there was a Days Gone Horde mode announced, which I find really interesting. Yeah, I think I want to jump back in more than I did initially, because I have the game. I just haven't really had any desire to go back and play. I played the first 2 hours. But this Horde mode seems way more interesting. You've got, it's just more arcadey. You can rack up kills. Right. You have more ammo and stuff, and you deal with the Horde. And I know the Horde isn't actually unlocked till later in the game, so it's not something you get to experience as the trailers show until way later. So this lets you experience it right off, and I'm digging this. Very like World War Z. There was that last World War Z that came out.
Right.
It's like that, but like just way more crisp and just. Yeah, I'm all about this.
That could be really fun if it kind of played like it did in the original concept trailer, where, I mean, the Horde's kind of pushing you.
Sure.
And you're just trying to survive it and find ways out, and maybe have it come at you from weird angles, and you got to find that one sliver to get out. I think could be
and kind of stretch them intentionally by going through obstacles, or bundle them up intentionally so you can damage them more.
Yeah.
But this mechanic, the whole Horde thing, is in the game. As they exist, but it's like later apparently in the game. So that was kind of a bummer when I heard that. But yeah, this is awesome.
I didn't know that. I thought the Horde was at the very. Holy shit! This is a dense.
Yeah, and they throw a lot of characters on screen. It's pretty nuts. Like, and this game is really beautiful. I don't think they get enough credit for how it runs.
Yeah.
But and it's a free update. So.
well, that sounds legitimately fun.
Right.
This guy gonna need to get ammo at some point because he has fired so many bullets.
Yeah.
And not well,
you're dead now. Yeah,
there's the answer to that question. Should have gotten ammo.
So yeah, that was the new Days Gone survival mode. Surrounded is what it's called. We have Skatebird, which was announced at there was an E3 announcement, but it was actually announced a good time before that, November 2018. But I've just never heard of this until recently. So you play a bird watching the footage.
Oh my God, with this Thrasher font.
Right, yeah.
I wonder if you can get in trouble for that. I don't.
I feel like, yeah, you might. But Thrasher, if anybody, should be like, hey, that's cool.
The arms are so goofy.
I think the flapping is a mechanic to keep you in so you can jump higher, right?
I'd imagine.
But it's dope. You're like a little, what are those thumb skateboards you could buy in the 90s?
I can't remember.
Early 2000s?
Yeah.
Tech Decks, I think.
That was it.
But yeah, you just play a bird skating around.
The animations are so cute.
Yeah.
Like that the bird has headphones.
Yep. And you're just on someone's desk just skating around. Yeah. It's awesome. I can't wait for this. I think this is one maybe they push back further, or there's a demo on PC for this, so you can play it, a demo of it. But yeah, I'll send you a link too.
Random thing I saw that I'm very curious. Oh wow, I got gameplay. I saw on what was it? The Google Play Store, some Nintendo ass Mario looking game. Yeah, it's called Dr. Mario World. It says by Nintendo. Vaguely heard about this. Is this legit?
Yeah, I vaguely heard about this, but I didn't know what it was. I'm pulling up the trailer.
If that's official. Goodbye,
so this is from
free time.
This is from June 17, 2019. Yeah, so it's Welcome to Dr. Mario World. It's a mobile game, yeah. This might have been announced at their last direct. I didn't catch.
That looks fun.
Yeah, it's perfect for a mobile game too. So we're watching footage of it now.
Oh, I'm gonna screw that up every single time.
But yeah, apparently this is legit. You're right. And they're still.
It looked so that's the problem. There's so many fake Mario things that the thumbnail looked exactly like a fake Mario game. But I was like, why is this on the front of the store?
Yeah. Is it available yet, do you think? Or you just saw pre-order something?
It was pre-registration or something.
Gotcha.
Which is ridiculous for a phone.
Yeah. Yeah, but it seems like that's happening now more and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool that they're still supporting the mobile thing, because that was their big thing a couple years ago with doing the Mario. Was it Mario Go? There's a Mario
Run.
Mario Run. There you go.
Yeah.
And letting Pokemon be on mobile. Really, that's the Pokemon company too. But yeah, they're really supporting still the mobile side of it. So if I'm gonna theorize, does that mean them thinking about less and less the support of a 3DS separate model? Or because they're now fracturing to mobile and then the various Switch stuff that they do?
I don't think so. These are not the traditional uber tactile Nintendo style games. These are, you look at how simplified they had to go with Super Mario Go.
Right.
And I don't think you're ever going to have Miyamoto designing one of these.
No, I imagine there's nothing artistic or interesting for him to actually do that. Unless he finds a super unique way to create a game from the ground up that's touch based.
And he could.
Yeah, he could.
That man made Nintendogs. And it was
never played it. It looked cool.
Video game that existed. I played it. It was.
Yeah.
I imagine actually raising a puppy would be less stressful.
I know Beyonce was on the little trailer for it.
Oh yeah, she was. And we have some other. I want to say Miley Cyrus, but I don't think she was around yet. No, she definitely wasn't around yet because she didn't pop
Billy
around until she wasn't there till I was in college, and this was back when I was in early high school.
Yeah. There's another game I wanted to pull up. You might have seen this already. I just thought it looked super unique. There was an E3 announcement. This is last year's E3. Okay.
Sable.
Yeah, I say Sable, but it could be
I just made.
Okay. But it's a super unique art style. It's just like a cartoon, almost like a Adult Swim style cartoon looking.
Ooh.
But it's heavy on. Let me pause this. We're watching the trailer. It's heavy on exploration. Apparently, there's no combat or no death or some kind of mechanic like that, where it's just exploration.
That could be fun.
Yeah, it reminds me of Journey too, and like just how you're exploring. I wonder if they're
sliding down the hill.
Yeah, with the sliding too.
Yeah,
sliding confirmed.
Yeah, everybody's got the slide. God, that's pretty.
The internet sucks, but yeah, just the art style was super unique. It sort of reminds me of Blue Manchu games. What's the Void Bastards with that kind of cartoony art style? But they went way more actual comic book style, and this is just.
This still looks pretty comic book though.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks really cool.
Probably give it a check out
when the internet fully loads. But anyways, check this one out.
I saw the other day. I really want to get an update. Do you remember I want to say it was clear back at the Game Awards where they announced all those games and they all look fantastic. There was that one that almost looked like Breath of the Wild-ish, where the environments are absolutely fuck off huge. Oh, this game's been in development for years. Gotcha. I remember seeing I'd always see these GIFs of that rocket on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been posting about this for a long, long time.
Gotcha. It's apparently Microsoft and PC exclusive. So
really, that is surprising. What was I saying? The that one game. Yeah, there's some weird game. I forget what it's. I want to say it's for everything, but I saw footage of it the other day that reminded me on the Epic Store, because I think it's an Epic exclusive, maybe. But it was like Breath of the Wild, but you're running 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I think you even have the glider thing, but you're just sprinting, and it was a little bit more actiony. It just looked terrible description.
It sounds really cool. I'm going to look up Breath of the Wild. Epic. Running, gliding. I highly doubt anything will pop up. Somehow literally film will pop up, I'm sure.
Speaking of, I recently watched... I saw this this animatic for... It was like a cartoon making fun of Breath of the Wild speedruns. And it was so batshit insane off the walls that I had to watch Breath of the Wild speedrun. And... Have you seen one?
I've never actually seen footage of one, no.
They have a bug where you can, you know how you could surf on a shield? So you jump down from it looked like a decent height and flip to jump riding your shield and bounce off of a moblin's head and launch the whole level.
Really?
So the first part, they're at the first dungeon or something like that, or at the second dungeon, and they drop down and bounce off a moblin all the way to the second temple, and then up the mountain to the third, or something like that. And then once they get the parachute, because then that allows them to glide a little bit better. So they bounce off a moblin all the way from the starting area all the way to the castle.
What?
And it was incredible.
Just by picking up enough air or something to glide all the way over
they're
there?
Just moving. Just they got that much air and they're moving that fast. Jeez, so it's awesome. It's worth a watch. It's batshit insane. They're rolling into the temple or the shrines because it's faster than doing the cutscene of going down. It was impressive.
Can you fight the end Gandalf guy?
Gandalf, yep. Gandalf the Grey.
No, Ganondorf.
Ganondorf.
Yeah. I always get those mixed up.
Right.
I want to ship them together and create some kind of content with them. But yeah, so Ganondorf. Can you beat him at any point, or can you you have the ability to fight him at any point?
See, this is the thing I can't quite remember is can you get into the castle without...
This is a speed run that I pulled up. It's 40 minutes. But
40, I want to say this one was 25.
Dang, okay. Now they're running with their horse and no armor in that world or that area.
Yeah,
so
you might have to look up world record because he wasn't there. I don't.
No. They traveled there, and I think they're they're not sliding either. They're just running. But yeah, no, I didn't realize that was I just never looked it up, but I'm sure every game now it seems has its own speed run. Community. There is one. So there's a game jam apparently. I was going to show you this too. So
is it Game Maker's Toolkit?
No, this is Games Done Quick. So they hold this huge stream where they give this all the proceeds from the stream to Doctors Without Borders. Anyways, they have these game hack things. So they've able to link Link to the Past on Super Nintendo with Super Metroid, and I'll put up footage. So they're played together and they can share the menu items together. so it can be played cooperatively, and it's on SNES hardware with some kind of mod.
I gotta watch that. I don't understand.
So so then we're watching footage where they have the menu items overlinked or overlapped with each other, and you can transfer the same items to each game and use them. I'm not sure what they do when you use them, but it can be played cooperatively that way, and it's 2 different games.
And it's only they're 15 minutes in. I wonder what the projection was for the time on that. That's pretty fun,
right? And I know Kotaku had a breakdown of what's actually going on.
Right.
I'm gonna pull that up. Metroid. Which couldn't Metroid? This is a thought I had the other day. Like we're talking about Mario Maker and how it'd be hard to do the 3D thing, which I totally get. But with Metroid, I feel like that could be done as far as like a Metroid Maker thing. Couldn't that be? Would that maybe transfer easier with building your little, how the levels transition? I'm thinking of 2D Metroid, but
I don't see why not. I think the issue you might run into is there's not as, I want to say, a great variety of enemies. Like I feel like a lot of times it's more environmental hazards, which is fine.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I could be completely wrong. There could be 1,001 enemies in Metroid, and I just don't remember any of them because I couldn't get far enough.
Well, I know what you mean with the environment, though, but if you can place those same things as uniquely as you can with, like, say, Mario Maker.
I don't see why not.
Yeah. I was just thinking of that, but
it would be kind of funny because I think they've taken down like multiple fan Metroid projects. So if they recreated them in Mario or in Metroid Maker, But
well, with that, just back to that Super Metroid thing, Legend of Zelda. So I pulled it from Polygon. So they wrote about it. Summer Games Done Quick closed out yesterday afternoon with quite an unusual mashup: Super Metroid and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. Randomizers are mods in which all the items in a game are redistributed to different locations, effectively creating a new puzzle for players to solve. This one does that, but for 2 games, and then play as one game cooperatively even. If all that puzzles you, you're not the only one. Just watch and try to follow along the commentary from Andy and Ivan. But yes, that's Samus and Link carrying around objects from one game in the other's world. These two are playing the same game cooperatively, with the goal of killing both Ganon and Mother Brain before finishing the story of either original game. That's pretty dope.
That's fascinating.
If you could then work this, just with the fact that we live in a world with Mario Maker, if you could actually combine 2 classic games like that and like a proper Nintendo-backed, project, you could do something really cool where you like blend these 2 different games and still make something unique.
Could. Never going to happen, but it could. I would still love to see them. Here's the thing, though, with these randomizers, though. Like,
I don't know how that
works. So the Metroid, to my understanding, they just take key items and randomize their locations.
Okay.
They have certain items that it's not going to break the game. You'll be able to get to them.
It's
a lot
just
of times,
keys in another place and something else is there.
So you don't know where you're going to go. And so there's a big community for sure with Link to
the Past.
Link to the Past. Yeah, they do tournaments regularly on Twitch where you have 2 opponents. And I don't think they have the same key, I want to say. They may have the same key, but I don't think they do. And where they just try and beat the game, but everything's randomized. And it sucks because sometimes like you really need an item and you're hoping for it and you think you're in the last place, but it's a fucking heart piece or something that you just like, come on, dude. It's really cool. It'd be nice to see something that like that actually officially implemented like in Link's Awakening game?
Oh, okay.
But that being said, I think they'd have to do a lot of work to do that because you look at like really the only 2 games I see with randomizers are Link to the Past and Super Metroid, and like maybe a few others, but those are the 2 popular ones I know.
Is it easier to program for that kind of thing, or they're built on the same thing? Or
I think they just got kind of lucky with the way their open worlds are set up, and you can genuinely get most items by using exploits and stuff to get over certain things if you don't have a certain item. So you definitely have to know some tricks to be able to get that stuff, but it'd be really cool if they did that with the new, they're not going to do it, but the new,
is it the Zelda remake?
Link's Awakening. Yeah. If they could change the levels up just a little bit and allow that mode.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
To really give the players who are used to it something different to experience.
Yeah. And it's a whole new adventure. I mean, that's so cool having to figure out the game again.
Right.
So
Just to kind of explain this, so Polygon does show up this tweet from Harris Foster saying, apparently both of these games share similar blank memory slots. This is Zelda, Link to the Past, and Super Metroid, which can lead them to being combined and sharing item unlocks between the two worlds. It's wild. They're running this on real hardware. So it helps them communicate together and be compatible. But
that I don't know how they do running that on real hardware. I could see running that in like what are those, Res or whatever's?
Oh, those emulator kind of things? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I know Sega Genesis had this. At a certain point, it got super ridiculous where you'd have a cartridge that would allow another cartridge on top. I want to say like Sonic and Knuckles possibly did
That's how you knew you were the cool kid on the block when you had the cartridge that goes into the cartridge. Like,
yeah. You're the essential part of whatever your friend's meeting up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like was possible if you could put two games together, but it would never work. But I don't think Nintendo ever had anything like that. But
I remember it was really cool if they had a handheld that I want to say could take regular cartridges. And then they had the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge that you could put another Sonic game into to get extra content. So you're playing on a handheld with this thing stacked like that tall. I feel like I'm not misremembering this. I feel like this definitely happened at a swim meet.
Because there's also like the Super D-Boy, which is like a really beefed up NES Super Nintendo controller that was large enough to accept like the actual Super Nintendo cartridges. So
this is like a custom made thing, though, right? Gotcha. Yeah, and those are fantastic. I think they even have one for the 64, and I don't want to know how much that thing costs.
Oh, interesting.
I think those are actual. I could be wrong, but I think those are actual circuit boards.
Really? I know the Super D-Boy one, at least you can buy on Amazon, but I don't know what the insides look like. But yeah.
Could be wrong.
Yep.
Probably wrong.
Well, that's it, Gavin.
Sweet.
That's it for the week. We want to end it here.
Yeeler.
We've got an hour going. Alrighty, guys. Gavin, where can they find you online?
At Drunk Devs on Twitter.
Awesome. And we have Plastic Heart Pod on Twitter and youtube.com/Plastic Hearts Podcast. And I'm on Twitter as well, at Fonzie Pence. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.